Hi you guys, there's been a lot of talk about the upcoming recession. What can we do to help ourselves in the recession? Coming up next, Firefighter Financial Toolbox. Welcome back you guys. Today we're going to talk about the impending recession and when to do when it happens. When's it going to happen? I don't know when it's going to happen, you guys. Nobody does. But here's what. First of all, what is a recession? A recession is a period of economic decline or downturn when trade and industry activity are reduced. Now, we're actually technically in a recession following 2 quarters with a falling GDP or gross domestic product. What does that mean? Okay. Let's talk about some of the indicators. First of all, as I said, we can't tell when it's going to happen. Every year we think it's going to happen. There's indicators that say it might happen. We don't know when it's going to happen. Nobody does until we're actually in it. So, what are the indicators? The inverted yield curve comes up first, right? What is an inverted yield curve, you ask? Well, it's easy. I'm going to define it in simple terms. It's when, remember, everything is based on a 10-year treasury rate. So if the 10-year treasury rate is 2%, which I think right now it's about 2.09, but you can borrow money for 30 days on a 30-day treasury and get a higher rate than you can for a 10-year treasury. If you get a bond and you hold the bond for 10 years, you should be expected to get more money for that interest rate than if you borrow it for 1 year, right? It makes sense because they know that they're going to have your steady money coming in for their debt for a longer period of time. When the yield curve inverts, it's the opposite. You actually get a higher rate for a shorter amount of time. For example, if I get a 30-day treasury, I can get a higher rate on it than I can if I do a 10-year treasury.
Which is backwards, right?
So that's indicator number 1. We're currently in an inverted yield curve since about May 22nd, I believe. Second thing is consumer confidence goes down. What does this mean? That means that people that were borrowing a lot of money start getting nervous about borrowing money because the banks say, well, we don't want to lend as much money. And people start getting a little nervous about why that is. Another thing that happens is unemployment starts rising. Because the companies are not doing as well, they're in a little bit of industry downturn, right? They have to start laying off some people because they're not making as many of the product that they make, or they're not doing as much of the service that they do. They can't afford to pay as many employees. So unemployment starts going up. And of course, as we said, the GDP goes down for 2+ quarters. And then we are officially in a recession. Now, are we there yet? No. Are we going to be there this year? I don't know. Maybe. So, I'm not here to say we're going to have a recession because nobody knows that for sure. What I'm here to say is, what can you do if we have a recession? Okay, first thing I want to say is make sure you have an emergency fund, you guys. Because as we've already discussed, unemployment rates go during a downturn, right? So, if unemployment rates are going up, because the economy is turning down, that means more people are being laid off. And if we're laid off and we don't have an emergency fund, it's going to be hard to make a living. It's also harder to find another job during a recession. So it's very important that we have at least 3 to 6 months. If your job's uncertain, I would go with the longer version for your emergency fund. Second, pay off all your credit card debt. Anything you have that's high interest, try to have it paid off, because if you're not paid off, it's going to get further behind. In fact, try to save a little more cash than you normally would, or you forego something that you don't necessarily need, because then you'll have a little bit of extra cash that you can put in your emergency fund if you need that to live on. Now, this is primarily an investing channel, so let's talk about investing. What do we do if there's a recession as far as investing? Nothing. Do the same thing. Continue investing like you always do. Remember, it's not timing the market, it's about time in the market. Now, if the stock prices are going down, you're actually buying them on sale. Now, I realize, you guys, it's hard when you're seeing your total up there going down and down and down. It's very frustrating, and it's real easy to go, hey, I need to sell out and cut my losses. You guys, listen to me. Do not sell. Keep investing. The stock market has always historically turned around. Now, I can't tell you how fast that's going to be. Remember in 2008 when we thought the world was falling, the sky was falling, the world was ending? Took us about 4 years, and then we were ahead of where we were. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen again. Nobody knows, you guys. But keep investing. Remember, 3 things you got to do. Have an emergency fund. Pay off your credit card debt. Try to save money if you can. Continue investing like you always did, consistently. If you have a 401k that you're contributing every month, keep contributing. If you do a Roth, keep contributing. You guys, it's very important. Now, if you have any questions about recessions, I'm not the guy to answer them. I know what a recession is. I understand how it works. I'm not a financial major. I'm not one of those guys that can say it's going to happen, it's not going to happen. Having lived through the Great Recession of 2007 to 2009 and benefited because I didn't sell, I can tell you this is the best alternative. All right, I hope you got something out of this. If you did, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out. I'm going to continue making content as long as you guys keep liking it. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. All right, we'll see you next time. Bye.